and with it out and for the praise and glory of the day for all good and for all the Holy Church. God was presently in this Eucharist we proclaim the death of the Lord, accept the gifts we present, and help us to follow him with love for his Lord forever and ever. Amen. The Lord be with you. Lift up your hearts. Let's give thanks to the Lord our God. When supper was ended, he took the cup again, he gave you thanks and praise, gave the cup to his disciples and said, take this all of you and drink from it. This is the cup of my blood, the blood of the new and everlasting covenant. It will be shed for you and for all men, so that sins may be forgiven. Do this in memory of me. Now I wish to thank the chairman himself for, I owe him a lot in what is being done today. And I wish to thank Father Crowley and Father O'Leary and Father James, who represents the Franciscans of Cork here today. Also, the other clergy present to the crowd, I know there are. Thank you all for coming, and you are very, very welcome. And our old friends that I left here who never fail, and who supply the singing. I want to thank very especially the Ballinhassig 5 bands who have arrived also to lend what they can to this occasion. And of course, we mustn't forget my colleague Donald O'Callaghan, who year after year keeps this function going. Vermila Mahagugno. Yes. To say some few words in the language that was spoken by Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid Kilcrea, as he is called, or he was King of Desmond, but he is also known as the King of Cork. He lives at Shandon, I suppose that accounts for that. I thought the most appropriate thing to do, because it would be unreasonable with many people who possibly couldn't follow me in Irish, to write a little ode beginning. Now, I owe it to all so long. Diarmuid Kilcrea Rí Corky. A chuig bór is fan Corry, e gach le dín bulion. Inniu tamid na láthir, le cover switch an óir, bo chuig cúcholing ailúil a hit mar as an fód. Be cannot trá ba tíhach, hum me tuig the crown. Níor chaill túriú a Diarmuid, dílacha lár le del. Hain the fáil ar tiamper, níor éisicí de home. Núr híl tú vil talas, bit le fiú fód, Zaster le brí sa bramar, vláid as blúr nar ioi. Is in the vast on that, it's honor the vulnerable. It would be only courteous to paraphrase those verses for you. There are many, maybe many who do not understand it. Great hero of Clancarty, once in battle a lion. Today together we gather to give you the honor That was the share of great Cuchulainn, who fell where he fought like you. Your lead in your day was lordly, this you bequeathed to your clan. You never died, Dermot, though laid low by a treacherous hand. Your fame o'ercome the ages, nor did it age with time. When you shed your blood on the sod, you sowed there with the seed that guaranteed that germinated meaningfully in the soil, from which blossom and never fading flowers. Your death there conceived new life that is the soul of Ireland still. One might ask, why commemorate the death of Dermot Kilcrea, King of Desmond, also known as King of Cork, the only person ever known by the latter title? Why here at Kilcrea, and why here now? This Franciscan foundation did not come into being for 280 years after Dermot's death. The reason is, of course, that Dermot was the victim of foul treachery at the hands of Geoffrey de Cogan and his minions during a parley at Kilcrea, and it is now well established that this is the place scarcely a mile to the south of where we stand, long since called Kilbourne. There are variations of the spelling of Kilbourne, which means a walled enclosure, a barn or bailey. It is spelled Barboon in Neil O'Donnell's dictionary, with barn and spine as variations. There is a field in Kilbourne called the Bailey Field, now owned by Mr. Chris Gillian, which has changed hands over a century to all times, from O'Leary to Cullinan, and again briefly to another O'Leary, and then to Mr. Lehan. How har tradition died. Here the name of a field survives the century, while the historical reason for its being so called has not, to our knowledge, survived even in folklore. The date of Dermot's death is reliably established from evidence from 3 sets of Irish annals in Vienna. The Irish Benedictines in Europe kept those Irish annals, and they are now found in Vienna. And the date being November the 6th, 1185.
Cold November's evening, and there have been celebrations and mass here, which you might have already seen the mass. But with me is the man that will tell us all about it, the chairman of the committee, Mr. C.J. McCarthy. He also writes on some historical notes under the name of CF. So, Mr. McCarthy, probably you'll fill us in on what's going on here this evening.
Well, on this rather wonderful November evening, Kilcrea has come alive again for just a brief period of 60 minutes. The main function was the annual mass, the repose of those who are buried here. And secondary, we took the occasion to have a commemoration recalling the death 800 years ago nearby of Dermot McCarthy, King of Cork, who was slain in a conflict with Normans from Cork City. He was a notable person, and we are very fortunate in having as our principal speaker Micheál Moraku, who is on my right-hand side.
Micheál, you were very involved in this. You've taken from here now, so.
Yes, well, since the year 1966, when we commemorated the foundation of the Friary here in Kilcrea, we have come every year in November. For so many years, we had the Rosary on the second Sunday of November. And with the last maybe 5 years or so, we have Holy Mass itself celebrated. We had at the outset, of course, a fairly wide committee, but they have all dwindled away, many have passed on, and there are left only Donald O'Callaghan of Ovens, who is year after year does most of the hard work of this, and we have Micheál Kane, whose health doesn't allow him to be here today, and John Horgan of Aherla, and myself. I think it's confined to 4 of us now.
Yeah.
So, as I say, each year we come to have the Mass. But as Mr. C.J.F. McCarthy told you, we had a very special function this year to commemorate the death of Diarmid, King of Cork, who was killed foully by the Normans by one of Geoffrey de Cogan and his speckled turn at Kilbawn, which is only just south of us here, on the 6th of November. That will be, the anniversary was last Wednesday.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Michal. And we are here nearby a grave of a very famous man, Art O'Leary. Is that right, Michal?
That's right, yes. Art was often called Art O'Leary the outlaw. He was outlawed, I suppose, in the penal times from the powers that then were. He was a daredevil man. He was a captain in the Hungarian Hussars, and he returned home, and he wouldn't bend to the penal laws of the time or sell his horse for £5 when offered it. And he was married to Daniel O'Connell's niece, our aunt, I should say, Daniel O'Connell's aunt, Eileen Dovney Connell. He was slain at Carriganimmy, and he was buried first at, well, Kilnamartyr, they say, but I understand it was Dundar Rourke. But he was exhumed later and reinterred here at Kilcrea.
So his remains are still here?
He was born at Ballymurphy, and that was the connection I said I would bring him to Kilcrea, you see.
Yeah, very good, Michal. Yeah. Now, Mr. McCarthy, you have something to add to what Michal has just
Well,
said?
it's very little to say, but Eileen Dove Gunnell was married to a man called James Baldwin, who lived at Clohina in the parish of Kilnamartyr. And the fraction of the old house is still there to be seen. In the second generation, the Baldwins turned out to be remarkably fine Catholics and patriots, and associates of Daniel O'Connell.
Very good, Mr.